everyone. Welcome to this stream. I am going to make some music. I'm going to compose. I'll show you some production stuff inside my DAW and everything. I haven't ever streamed on this channel live before. I have another YouTube channel that I actually do, so if you've wondered why sometimes I don't post here for a while, that is why. So here we are. I'm going to make some music. Let me just share this little link around the internet really fast. Announcements. Go to Zebra feed. Everyone. Music live stream. Boom. Oh, send now. Yes, that's what I want to do. Hello, people. Welcome. Now, I just want to make sure. Oh, hi there. Yes, Valerie. Hello, Carlos. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to play some music. Let me know if you can hear this. I'm going to explain different musical things. I think you should be able to hear that, though. Just let me know if you can. I've never streamed here before in particular. There we go. So like so. Let me know if you can all hear that. Oh, can you guys hear it? Sound is good? Okay. You can all hear it clearly? That's so wonderful. Actually, I won't put my glasses on. So I'm currently playing in a tuning that I created. It is a really, really cool microtonal tuning that is basically, let me pull it up for you all, and I'll show you what it is. Since I am not doing a voice stream, I'm doing a music stream, which means I get to talk about music, which is what I like to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull this up for you all here. Let me just find it really fast. So this is the, it's a 12-note mapping, and it is based off of the Prime 19. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it here in a second. Okay, so this is the tuning that I am playing in. Let's go here and make it so OBS can see that. My display capture, is this that? Wait, this might be a Christmas tree. Oh, look at that. I have a Christmas tree now. Display capture, where's that at? No, display capture. Here we go. Wait. Whoa. That's not what I wanted. Wait. Is it no longer capturing the display? Well, that's not good, is it? I guess I could do it this way. Hello? What the heck? Where's it at? Huh. 1 second. Display capture. Capture this window here. If you guys have any questions about music theory or microtonality, feel free. I would love to take some questions about that. So display capture. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Is this correct? No? For some reason I can't send my display. So the tuning is impossible to show you all. Hold on 1 second. This isn't bad anyways, because like people need to join, so gives people time. Let's see. I'm gonna go text. How do I do that? Do I just put text on the screen? Okay, we did it. Okay, so this is the current tuning. Whoa, that looks so like cool. What the heck? Look at me. I'm doing it. Okay, so this is the current tuning I am playing in. I call it a Novum decimal chromatic 12 mapping, and basically it is all ratios which reference either with a first factor or second factor of the prime number 19. So you'll see here the whole number ratios I'm using are 1 to 1, which is my root note, which happens to be this. We have 20 against 19, which is an 88-cent half step that sounds like this. And it's actually so beautiful. Listen to this particular thing, what it does when you play a chord like this. So the 88th half step, super, super cool. 43 against 38, I like this as a major second. It is a 214 cent major second, and it sounds like this. So it has just a little bit more lift than the normal major second that we see in mean tone. Sounds like this if we're using it more melodically or musically. Or in minor. Isn't that crazy? So to your ears, maybe if you're not a microtonal person, you might hear that as like sounding like out of tune with itself or something like that. This is actually way more in tune than a normal piano. It's just tuned very peculiarly, okay? So we've got the 88 cent, the 214 cent. The minor third is probably the biggest like anomaly out of the entire scale. The Novum decimal minor third, which is 23 against 19, it's like really big. It's like 330 cents. So it comes off like a really, really lifted super minor. In some cases, certain voicings, it starts to sound a little bit neutral as well, but it definitely is like a lifted super minor. It sounds like this. Hear that? Ooh, it's like so neutral, but yeah, it's still minor. Oh, what do you guys think about these intervals? They're so good. These are some of my favorite intervals. So if we then stack up and build like an 11 chord in this tuning, we get this. That's really cool. Okay, so there's our minor third. Our major third is 404 cents. It is the interval 24 against 19, which is really great because when I'm building these like these little scales that I like to do, which are based on like whole number primes or whatever, we end up. Is this basically a subset of the notes in 38 EDO? No, this is not EDO. This is not EDO at all. This is just intonation, which is why I'm using whole number ratios. So EDO basically uses an irrational value and then redivides an octave equally. This is an unequal tuning. In fact, it's incredibly unequal. For instance, if I play a minor 7 here, on the 4th degree, sounds completely different than a minor third on the 3rd degree, which is much smoother. So this means that all 12 keys inside of this chromatic system have different colors, have different feelings, different energies. And so this is basically ratios of frequency. So for instance, if I had, let's say I had, your tuning reference was 20 hertz. So if you took 20 and you multiplied it by 19, let's say our original frequency is 380. Now, if you take 20 and you multiply it by 43, 20 times 43, now you have, oh, that doesn't seem right. Did I skip a number there somewhere? 23? No, I guess that is, oh, 23, 640. So if you had 380 hertz against 640 hertz as whole numbers, you would generate the ratio of the 23 against 19, which is what I'm using in my minor third right now. So we're literally hearing static air structures. Like the air is completely like static at that point, and it's actually creating a closed structure. EDOs are like infinitely non-closing since they're built on irrational values. So for instance, if you could see it inside the air, EDO would look like, equal division of the octave, would look like a table where like pieces don't fully align. You know, it's not flush with the whole thing. Whereas if we're using microtonality or we're using just intonation like this, then we are creating self-closing structures in the air. Here, let me change my tuning or my tone so you can hear it. So I'm on like a hazy, like upright piano. Let me change it to something more synthy so you can like hear how this works. So when we're working in the structures I'm working in, which are just intonated whole number structures, basically I'm not in any EDO. I'm in sort of whole number tuning. Here we go. So tunings, Novum decimal tunings. Now I use the word Novum decimal to represent 19. So if I'm building off of a tuning where I'm only using ratios that reference against 19, then I call it Novum decimal. Wait, here we go. I've almost got it. It's hiding from me, I think. There it is. Okay. So here it is with a different sound altogether. Like this. And we can hear all sorts of... Oh, there's a cat underneath me? Nope. Thank God. It's just a little hat. Okay, here we go. Hear that? How it's static? So this is what just intonation gives you. It gives you way cooler sounds, and they're sounds that are like infinite perfection looped over and over, as opposed to like irrational things that don't add up. Like the way I think about it is like something being flush. Like if you're going and you're buying like a table from like a woodworker, you want something that's flush, where the ends align and it's perfect and beautiful and seamless. EDO is flush. It's not flush, I mean. It's the opposite of flush. It's like, it would be like a piece of wood hanging just like a 0.5 millimeter too far in one spot. And down here, like the floor is a little uneven from the legs, you know? So just intonation is like defining the exact behavior of the air pressure around you. So if I play this right now, I know that there is a ratio of 23 to 19 air pulses going in the air if I play this. That is your brain's sensory experience of the number 23 superimposed on top of the number 19 in terms of pressure differential. We can do that with all these different ratios. And so this scale is specifically built out of ratios which are unique and fully utilize the number 19, which is a prime. I like to do this because if we use prime numbers, we generate a lot more unique intervals a lot quicker, since primes are unique numerical identities that can't be reduced. So you get lots of different intervals. It sounds like this. I'll play a little bit in this tuning. Listen to that. Tuning. I really like it. I mean, if we go through the rest of the intervals here, we'll see they're not too far off from 12 equal, but it's not equal, and it's purely tuned to just intonated harmonics. So, for instance, the major third, 404 cents. Oddly enough, it's further away from the just major third, but it's actually less complex than the 12 EDO major third at 400 cents. So even though this one's further away from the 5/4 major third, the just major third, which is this. Actually, that should be it. I guess it's not it at the moment. But even though it's like further away from the just major third, it's actually less complex, which is really interesting because it indicates this concept where you can be in an EDO and be closer to just intonation, but still be infinitely more complex than a just ratio that's actually further away from like the other place that you're trying to shoot for. So, and then we have the perfect fourth. The perfect fourth in this scale is 9 cents. It's like 11 cents sharp. It's slightly lifted. It sounds like this. I really like it. It's got a bite to it, and I think the bite inside of it really helps in the minor 11 chord. So there's like a 330 cent minor third. So if you add the 11 on top, since the 11 is like 11 cents sharp, it almost makes the minor third sound 11 cents lower, and then it makes it sound like you actually have like a 219 cent minor third, or 319 cent minor third, instead of something at 330, which is really interesting. I like to do stuff like that where you like detune, not really detune because you're using whole numbers, so it's perfectly tuned, but you use like values that are further out than what you might anticipate, and it'll actually contextualize the rest of a chord. So for instance, if I have a really rough major third at like 435 cents, like really super major level, if you have a fifth instead of at 702 that is at like 715 or 720, it will actually like, since everything in the chord is lifted, nothing in the chord is lifted. And that's been one of the most interesting things for me, playing around with different chords. We got some questions. 600 years from now, classical musicians will be playing music from the stream, but in 19 EDO. Yes, but I wasn't playing in 19 EDO. That's very important that you know that. No 19 EDO here. I was playing in a whole number ratio tuning, which we can see at the top here where it says 38, 40, 43 against 46, 48, 51, 54, etc., etc., etc. So if I played every single note of the scale, that would be the pressure structure inside the air in my room. So if I did this, sounds cacophonous, but that's fine. It's a macro harmony, so it's very cacophonous, but it has all of the ratio up top where you see 38 against 40 against 43 against 46. That's what you just heard. Your ears just perceived that numerical pressure structure in the air, in your little ears, you know? So very cool. And we can create all sorts of structures out of this. I really like this one. Okay, so there's that tuning. Now let's see here. I'm gonna go into my DAW. I'm gonna show you guys something I've been working on. That's more Novum decimal stuff. Okay, so I want to show you this crazy, super crazy piece I've been working on lately. People are always asking me if they can see inside my project files, so now's your chance. But this is not a normal project file. This is like a headache that I'm working through. It's a gigantic headache, but it's very worth it. Now, by the way, I ordered delivery food before I got on stream, so when my food comes, that's when my stream ends. I'm going to be putting out some more content like this. I was curious to see how... So I have 2 YouTube channels. One of them for voice science and one of them for music and music theory. And I haven't really built an audience here for music. It's kind of been like... I don't know. This channel doesn't have a good definition other than my music channel. So I want to start to like do music theory here and see what sorts of people start to come here, if that makes sense, you know? Okay, so I'm loading this piece. It's like insanely crazy. I don't even know if it'll load right now. Only because I have to use like, I'm using dozens of different tunings against each other simultaneously to create like really specific things. It's loading. Here's some stuff I've been playing with lately. Let me find it. Okay, here's something really cool I've been playing with. So that's in all just intonation, different just intonated scales. This is in 17 EDO. This is cool. Ooh, that's a nice note. That's interesting. 17 EDO is super beautiful though. Actually, I'll just play some. There, my thing loaded. Here we go. Let me go ahead and share this with you all. This is so cool. How am I going to do this though? Maybe put me here. And then, because I tried to do my desktop share earlier and it didn't work for some reason. So I don't know. Let's see if I can get it to work this time. Display capture. Create new. Yes, for some reason I can't display capture the monitor I want to display capture. I wonder what's up with that. Wait, discard. Let me try this. I would love to show you all of my stuff I've been doing. Let me just remove that one because I think it might be already used. Okay. And of course, if you have any questions about microtonal stuff, feel free to ask, or music theory or composition or production or really anything that relates to sound. Let's see, display capture. There we go. Still doesn't work. That's unfortunate. I could try it here. Maybe. Yeah, I guess that does work, huh? Okay. So we can do it like this, I guess. It'll be hard for me to actually like work on stuff and compose, but I can illustrate stuff this way. If I move my DAW over. Wait. Can I? Oh my gosh. What a headache. This is what I've been working on. This is a cool Justin Standard piece. Hello everyone, welcome. I see we've got some people in here. Philip, RN saying ah, which you should say ah, because that's my favorite vowel, my favorite resonance structure. So this is a cool piece I've been working on. I'm not sure. I'm gonna sing throughout all of this. But I want to get it so you all can see the microtonal stuff. Where's that? That's cool. That's like a clashing between two just intonated structures, which I love, like poly JI. It's really cool. How about window capture? Maybe that'll be the way to go. Let's see. Not Explorer. Got it. We did it. Okay, so let's take a look at this project. So this is a piece I've been working on. I'm calling a series of just intonated events. It's kind of like, you know, a series of unfortunate events. I really don't want people to think of this as like a musical composition like I normally create, because this is a lot more like sporadic. I want to create a bunch of overwhelmingly beautiful, like just intonated structures. Think of it like sculpture. I basically want to make a sound sculpture. So what you'll see here is that like a lot of the pieces like this, look at this. I'm playing the whole chord at once. I'm just animating it. I'm reducing it. I'm like carving away. Oh, you can't see it because the window capture. What a bummer. Wait, maybe if I don't detach it, will it work? Yeah, okay, that works. So yeah. So like if we have this here. So this is a like 8-note, 9-note scale. I don't know. It sounds like this. So first off, it's not octave repeating. I mean, the octaves do come back, but it's like a structure that like repeats at different octaves, like this. Like the only way to know where it's at is to find where it flips like that. Little structure, and I'm basically carving away at it here. Wouldn't it be cool if I put a hot singing line? That'd be fun. Let's try it. Oh, yeah, okay. Check this out. I'll mute myself. I'll mute my main mic. Okay. We're in here, I think. Hold up. Let's do... Well, maybe not. I was gonna like put some reverb on and like improvise over it. That'd be cool. I'll do that later. So this structure is like a big reduction of chord mass, you know? Now this particular scale that you're hearing right now is what I like to call pental minor, which is basically a minor 11 structure that is built off of ratios of 5. So for instance, I think this one's built off of 20 or 25. Let me just go ahead and open my scala and I'll show you all. I wish I could do monitor capture. I don't know why it's not working right now, but whatever. So this piece is really crazy. I want it to be like event after event. Like it's not a real piece. It's just like an episodic sort of, like imagine you go into a museum and you're like looking at all these sculptures back to back. That's what I want this to be. I want this to like sculptures of sound like back to back of each other. Like this one is different. I haven't created this yet all the way, but lots of singing here probably, you know. I use octatonic and monotonic scales often, but still in the 12 EDO dimension. Oh, I see. That's actually pretty cool. Chord mass right here is huge. Like I said, it's going to be very episodic. Here's another episode I haven't quite finished yet. I just started working on this. But listen to this harmony. This is an EDO, or this is in just intonation. And I have to change, so I have to change tuning. So this is a naiadic tuning. I believe this is like a quintridecimal naiadic structure. I don't know, something like that. But unfortunately, since you have to change tunings, here it is, and then here it is a 4/3 higher, or like 498 cents higher. So I'm sort of combining like two different tunings of this, like two different reference tuned versions of the naiadic structure, which makes a really cool sound because you get this inside of. So I'm gonna make something drum and bassy for this part. I haven't finished it yet. I just got like a basic little like cut of a loop. That chord is crazy. I love it. Yeah, so these are all different structures. So like if I open this, let me undetach this. Wait. Can you not see that? Oh, you can see it. Okay. So basically here are all the different tunings I'm using in this particular project file right now. Each of these is basically like the same instrument, but with a different tuning. So like pencil minor is this. It's that one tuning I was talking about. It's like... So it's like a... So this is a 5-note tuning. And it repeats at the octave. So you get like... I like to create like, so when I'm working in just intonated structures, I like to define exactly what scale I want to use and just like use that thing. And then if I don't want to use that anymore, I just move to a different one. I think of it like chord scale. Like if you're thinking like jazz and you're like, oh, this is like C minor 7 and we can play all these different modes over it. Like, is a Novum decimal dark major 7. But, so like this is a Novum decimal dark major 7. Wait. Where did it start? Okay. Get rid of things called commas, and I really like commas, like these things here. That's like my favorite part of music, and we actually built entire systems to remove those things. I mean, that's what temperament is. Like EDO is basically a system. Well, EDO is a little more, it's like a rank 1, so it's a little less specifically hunting commas, but it does by nature. But you know, we have so many different temperament and tuning systems where the whole point of them is to eliminate and delete those little differences. But to me, those little differences are like what make it so beautiful. Here's cool. This is cool. This is the naiadic sound. Let me find where it starts. Naiadic's really cool. It's like when you have a naiadic is like when you have a perfectly tuned chord that's hiding inside of something that doesn't seem tuned. Like I'll show you what I mean with that here in a second. So these are some of the tunings that I really have been enjoying lately. Oh, and then there's this one part that's really cool. Have I finished it, or I thought I had a part here that was cool. Oh, this is cool. It's not done though. I'm gonna have this like huge like that kind of sensation, but in like each of these like just moments, and then like a it's gonna be like a huge sigh of relief every single time it happens. Then it closes back up and then like hits you with like a new sigh of relief. So this is gonna be a pretty cool piece. I'm not done with it though. I still have a lot of ground to cover with this piece, but I really like where it's headed. Okay, let's move into Scala. My food is on the way, I think. I ordered some Alfredo. Like some pasta. Ooh, it'll be really good. Okay, there's like this Italian place nearby. It's kind of fire, and I like to get stuff there. Oh, let's see. What tuning is this? Oh, there's so many questions. Oh my gosh, I'd love to answer questions, but I just wasn't able to see. I'm kind of blind. Okay. To what degree does the overtone series, particularly the higher partials, play a conscious role in your composing? What tuning is this? Well, the tuning, I was going between lots of different tunings. I'll show you exactly what the tunings are right now. Let me go ahead and pull them up. In terms of to what degree does the overtone series is everything. It's the fundamental backbone of my entire life and my spirituality. I worship it. It's kind of it's given me a career, it's given me a belief, it's given me something to work for, and something that I find beautiful. So the harmonic series is very central to everything I do. But insofar as what are the higher partials, well, the issue is when you talk about the higher harmonics, you're talking about the higher harmonics in reference to to 1, the prime 1. So the prime 1 gives birth to then the factor of 2, which is 2, and then 4, which is the next octave, and then 8, which is the next octave, and 16, and 32nd, and 64. So basically, when you talk about the higher overtones, like the 27th partial, or the 23rd partial, or I like the 19th partial a lot. So if you're talking about the 19th harmonic, when you say the sound of the 19th harmonic, most people really mean 19 against 16. So if they have the ratio 16 against 19 or the ratio 8 against 19, any basically square or square root of 2 or 16 or whatever. So most people think when they think about the harmonics as having like character relative to the original harmonic, which is the prime, like the ultra prime, like 1. But you can actually build entire like harmonic systems by creating almost a new harmonic series with a different resolution. So for instance, that's what I like to do, and I'll demonstrate that here. Wait, can you hear this? Wait, hold on. Let me get this set up right. So I'll teach you some of this. This is my own little special chord library. You should hear that. I'll make it so you can see it too in a second. Just not display capture, monitor capture. Window capture, there we go. Create new. Scala. Okay, so we can get a lot of stuff that we need here just out of the way. So wait, I'll put myself over here. Okay, so here is the beautiful, beautiful program Scala. This allows you to calculate all sorts of things. It lets you do so much stuff, but in particular, I like to use it because it lets me, it lets me create an entire library of just instantaneous structures. So these are all my own chords. These are all my own structures. There are a few of them that are contributed by one of my like best friends. She's really into microtonality too. But this is basically my entire little chord library here. I like to compose just intonation using it as if it is like chord scale theory. So if you were playing in jazz and you came across a minor 7, you might say, oh, I want to play a minor 7. Oh, I might want to play melodically in Dorian, right? Well, instead, I'm thinking, oh, I want to play a minor 7. Oh, I want to tune the minor 7 this way, and oh, I want to play in this particular scale. So it basically adds another dimension to chord scale, where it's not just what's the chord and what's the scale that accommodates it, but what's the chord, what's the tuning of the chord, and what's the scale that accommodates that tuning and that chord. So it's a sort of multi-dimensional structure. So let's just take a look at these. So the piece that you were just listening to was created out of these ones. Pental minor 7 should be around here somewhere, maybe 25. I don't know exactly which I built it off of. Let me find it. There it is. Wait, nope. I thought I saw it. It tricked me. Pental major 7. There's the major 7 version. Somewhere. Maybe it's hidden from me. But let's just listen to some of these. So basically, if you were to build a bunch of structures based off of the prime 7. So if I put 7 in here, and I start generating intervals relative to it, you're going to spit out nothing but unique intervals. Septimal whole tone, septimal major third, or so those are all completely unique intervals until you hit the octave. And now all of a sudden you're repeating the first 2 gestures of the harmonic series, 1 against 2, right? So then if we extend this logic, we can say, okay, well, if I build everything off the second factor of 7, I should get all the previous unique intervals plus a bunch of new ones. So there's 7, 8 coming back from what we had before. 14 to 7, brand new interval. Beautiful sound, of course. This is a reduced interval, 7 against 9. We've had that one in the first octave. So basically, I treat each factor family of a prime as an entire pitch generating area. So for instance, I'm really familiar with 19, Novum decimal. So for instance, 19 against 20, there's its first interval it generates, an 88-cent interval of 19 against 20. Very cool. So this would be the Novum decimal half step, basically. If we continue all the way up this, we will get a bunch of unique intervals that do not repeat or reduce until you hit, once again, back to 1 to 2. Now the entire harmonic series is like digitally restarting, but based off of 19. So if I did 19 and then I did 57, 1, 2, 3. If I did the next factor of 19, which is like what is it, 70 something or 75 or 76? I don't know. I can find it. There we go. 76. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So between the spaces of these prime factors of this prime harmonic, we basically get an entire new overtone series. It's not a real overtone series, of course, because there's only one of those, but we can use it to generate content. So for instance, if I were to come here and only use ratios that relate to that, we will generate all the different triads of that family. So here would be the up minor triad. This is great. It's a 330. This is the most fundamental. This reduces quite well to 19 against 23. We add the 57 for the 2-3. Now we have a perfect fifth. Novum decimal minor. Okay. There's also a down minor version in the second factor family, which is a 292 cent. So I do have that included. It sounds like this. Okay, now dark minor. I use the descriptor dark, a little bit different than other people might. Any scalar chord that basically works normal but has like a fifth that's kind of not perfect. Like this is a 30-cent flat perfect fifth. So I call that a dark variation. I don't think that's far enough away from the perfect fifth that I'm gonna really hear it as a tritone unless this is present. Now I'll hear it as a tritone. Here we go. Now I'll hear it as like a Lydian with a super sharp tritone. But if there's no 57, I'm always going to hear that as the fifth. So we would call that a dark triad. Like this is dark minor. It uses the lower third of the two plus the lower fifth variation. And then you end up with a self-contained triad that makes quite a lot of sense. You'll see that if I go up to 46 and 57, it's basically the same distance. We'll see basically like a 29-cent difference. We go down here. Once again, similar difference. So we basically end up with the same sound, just like a pulled down version of it. And I call this dark. I call this a dark triad. I just name all of them that way, just for my own sanity, because I treat them as their own unique sounds, but they don't get a different term. They're the same thing, just a shade of it. Hey Z, more of a question of how you compose, but do you draw inspiration from others as a homage, or do you aim for doing your own thing with music? I create exactly what I want to hear. Or I just make random accidents. So by that, I can only create what's mine, because I don't hear what other people hear. So I guess I don't intentionally try to do my own thing, but I just do because I'm following my ear, and my ear has, based on my previous experience in my life and the music I've played and what I've done, it basically guarantees that I make something unique if I listen and make what I hear. So this is a really cool triad. I call this kind of triad a 0, 250, 57, or 250, 702, like a perfect fifth with a 250-cent structure in the middle. I call this a Godzilla triad. Now, I first heard this term because there's actually a rank 2 temperament called Godzilla temperament, where it uses 250 cents as a generator for all the content. So I just identify 250 and a perfect fifth as Godzilla. It sounds like this. This is the Novum decimal Godzilla. To me, it's a very like wailing. It's got this like pulsing energy to it. It's one of my favorite intervals, one of my favorite triads. 0, 250, 702. Beautiful. So Novum decimal major. Novum decimal major sounds a lot like 12 tone major, but only more rational, which is cool because it's actually sharper. So it's like you might think it would sound worse than 12 tone major third since it's further away from 5/4, but it actually sounds better. Listen to this versus 12. Here's this. Now 12. So even though this structure here, which is 19 against 24, even though 19 against 24 is further away from the 5/4 major third at 386, it's actually more simple than the 12 tone approximate at 400 because this is irrational. And you can hear it in the sound. Listen to it phase. Here's 12 tone. Here's Novum decimal. Like that's still sharp. It's sharper, but it's less complex. There's less beating. There's less warping and pulsing. Now, here's a naiadic triad. This is another name that I use. It's like my own thing. You're not going to hear other people call it this. Well, more people have lately, but I call this like 440 cent to 450 range. I call this naiadic. People might call this a neutral fourth or something, or like, I don't know. To me, neutral fourth is it's the 11th harmonic. That's what neutral 4 is. But, yeah. So this is like a 440 cent, 450 cent range. It's like not quite major, not quite perfect. And it allows you to hide chords. Like check this out. If I hide a chord. So if I do, let me come back to that. So for instance, if I put this all over 49, let's make a really, really consonant structure. Let's do like this, and then maybe do like this. Let me find. There's a minor 11. We'll add another. Okay, check this out. Okay, so now we have a minor 7 chord, minor 7 with an add 4. Basically 0, 291 cents, 489 cents, 690 cents, 993. I would call this a dark minor 7 because everything is minor 7, just pulled down by like 10 cents. Now, if we take this structure and then we superimpose it at the 440 cent mark of 19, we have now built a naiadic structure. Now, if you look at this, this looks super dissonant. 440, 732, 929, 1130, 1434, that all looks really dissonant on the surface level. But since it's hiding like an internal perfect minor 11 structure, then it actually sounds so beautiful. Listen to this. This is naiadic. So the naiadic structures are some of my favorite. You can build the naiadic structures with they're like almost polychordal. They're like polychordal microtonal constructions where it's like obviously microtonal, so it can't, but yeah, at the same time, it's like a poly ratio thing. You're really building a minor 7 on 49, but superimposing it against a 38 on this particularly special place. So I call that naiadic. Another triad that I name that other people might not is I have a word for 11 triad. 11 triad is the approximation of anything that's near the 11th harmonic. So a 0, 543 or a 0, 550 to 700 cent sounds like the 11th harmonic. This is like a really flat version. It sounds really kind of like a dark, what's this? Hello, I have your food. It says about 5 to 10 minutes. See you there. Please turn on your porch light. Okay, my food's almost here. But basically, 11th. So if I were to build a chord out of this and I wanted to use this as the triad of the chord, this would be the 11 triad. Maybe I add... something like this. The 11 triad lets you get away with all these other things that you normally shouldn't get away with. So yes, these are all of my beautiful chords here. I'm about to hop off, so I'll just show you. So if we take this same approach that I was just demonstrating, where you take ratios off 19, you can build entire heptads. So like here's like Lydian. Here's Lydian with all the things pulled down. Here's Ionian normal. Mixolydian. Dorian. Aeolian, Phrygian, Locrian, Superlocrian. So now we basically have all like 8 primary basic modes on the degree of 19 as a harmonic, based on the unique ratios that only 19 creates, right? We don't have any influence. The only ratio that 19 doesn't uniquely create out of all of this is the 702, the perfect fifth. And the perfect fifth is so fundamental to the harmonic series, you almost create the sound of the prime more by using it than by excluding it. So, yeah. Oh, here's a really nice chord. I like this a lot. Minor, major 9. Super naiadic. Look at this structure. 0 to 53, so it's got a Godzilla bottom. It's basically got a Godzilla 2 with a naiadic third. Anything Godzilla and naiadic work together. They're like the middle sounds. They're like the neutrals of neutral. Like most people would say neutral third is like 340 cents, 350. Agree with that. And then people talk about neutral seconds. 250 is not a neutral second to me. Stop saying those words. Neutral second is definitely more of a 150 cent vibe. And I have a word for that I also use, which is nescent, neutral second. So it makes it a lot easier. So I like to identify all of the basic triads that you can build off of. For instance, here's septimdecimal. So here's the septimdecimal major triad versus the novum decimal major. They are very similar, but they're different. Hear that? Listen. They're only 2 cents apart, but it's actually quite a big effect. If we look at the minor triads between the two, here's the septim decimal minor triad. Ba-da. And here's the novum decimal minor triad. So if I'm going to compose and I think I want a minor chord, I don't just think I want a minor chord, I think I want a minor chord, and how do I want to tune it? Do I want to tune it like through septim decimal ratios? Do I want to tune it through like novum decimal sounds, through septimal sounds, etc.? And so I sort of apply this like layer of tuning on top of chord scale theory to generate a lot of what I've been doing lately. Ooh, I love this. Undecimal minor 11 falling comma. I love putting falling commas in the chord. So here we have a 17, basically if I reduce it, we basically have a 507 perfect fourth, and then we have a 536 perfect fourth, and it falls like so. This program is called Scala. It is a not open source, it's a freeware microtonal and scale-based software. It's what most people who are doing microtonal music use to build most scales, at least. Well, it depends. All right, my food's here. I'm going to leave my stream on, I guess. I'll just leave a cool sound on that you all can listen to and trip out on. And I'll come back and do a little bit more stuff before I head off and fully eat my food. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I had a little burp. Okay, let's see here. How about this chord? It's nice. Listen, enjoy. Be right back. Change chords. Here we go. How about take a look at that. That's crazy. Oh, this is dope. Enjoy this chord. Be right back. Okay, I hope you all like that chord. I really love it. That's a naiadic structure too, where you've got like a neutral and then you just have nothing but neutrals. But look, if you take this up, like this looks really weird, like 340. Oh my God, how neutral. 540. Oh my God, it's like 11 harmonic-y neutral. It's like 726. Ooh, what a bad fifth, right? Oh, 1042, neutral 7. 1445, what a, ooh, neutrally Godzilla, right? But look, if you take this up and you like actually do it, It's a completely simple chord. It's literally just a just major 7 for the most part. Just would be that right there. So it's like a beautiful, perfectly tuned consonant structure hidden within a neutral position. Isn't that crazy? It's like one of my favorite sounds ever. Like the dyadic structure. Let me take my glasses off now. Oh, gosh. I'm all out of sorts. I had to go outside and get my food. Okay. Let me see your questions. Hold on. Let me use these again. Could you please spell the name? Yes. Scala. People in chat already posted it a bunch. They've got it right. Morton Feldman music. Dope. That reminds me of Paris Morton music from Drake. You know that song? I like that song a lot. I'm not gonna play it because I get like shut down by YouTube. Howdy, welcome, Dolly. Or in varying degrees of both. Are you constructing all these harmonies or chords on mathematical principles or by ear? Well, 100% by ear. I could care less about mathematical principles. Now, of course, since it's just intonation, they are mathematically like pure. They're whole number like perfection, you know. But at the same time, when I'm going to compose, if numerically, like here's an example. A lot of people who compose in just intonation, they like care so much about, let me just fix this a little bit. Let me move this over. Okay. They like care so much about, oh my God, I've got to get all my pure little consonant ratios and stuff. I don't care about that. Like some people would choose a 5/4 just because it's a 5/4. When I'm a lot more interested in the sounds. 5/4 is great. Yeah, I like 5/4. It's good. But there are a lot of really other good major thirds too that you can use that aren't 5/4. And so I think that sort of giving precedence to the simplicity or complexity of certain numbers or not is kind of not the way. I mean, I'm all about sound. So every single thing I do, I listen to extensively. All these chords, I don't put a single chord in this little library here unless I love how it sounds or unless it's like a building block. Like for instance, septim decimal super sus4 can be used as a building block to build Dorian super fourth. Right? And if we start knocking these up octaves and stuff, we'll get something like this. What's 38 times 2? I can't do it off the top of my head. I think it's 76, right? 38 times 2 is 76 for sure. I think I did it off the top of my head. Let me just try it. So watch, if we put 76 here, now I've got a 9 on top. It'll sound sweet. Let's put the 11 on top, so 46 times 2. 46 times 2. We'll also take 51. And we'll send this up an octave 2. No, we'll take 57. Ooh, whoops, I had a 1 somewhere. So, for instance, that would have been this like heptad voiced out into something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, these are like, to me, the tunings of like my chords. So, if I'm playing a jazz piece and I'm thinking like 2-5-1 minor or whatever, like I'm going to say, well, how do I want the minor to be tuned? How do I want the dominant to be tuned? Do I want it to be like this kind of tuning? 12 tone would turn it into this. Not too far off, but it sounds different. Listen. There's 12 tone. And there's like a Novum decimal rendering of the 7, sharp 9, flat 13 chord, which is really great. So I basically take these scales, think of them as like my fundamental little modes and ideas and chords and blocks and stuff. And then I'll take them in and compose with them like this. Like this right here. This is all of this structure. I can probably even tune it. Where's it at? It's pental minor 7 with a comma, I think. Where's it at? Or maybe I removed the comma just for this particular thing here. Oh, here's a cool. This is like a. This is a really cool. Well, it's based on prime 3. It's not really special, but it's cool. Not very special, but it's a nice sound. I love all these sounds. And after a while, you really start to hear the difference between chords that are sent through the family of 34 and chords, which is 17, chords that are sent through the family of 17 versus 7 versus 11 versus 13, which is tridecimal. Tridecimal chords sound very, well, what do you think? I think they sound very like, That's crazy. Tridecimal to me is a very overwhelming orangey sound. Like undecimal to me is very like green, brown, tan, rusty, dirty, kind of pulled in, and like, yeah, and you guys can hear, like, this is too nuts for me, gorgeous. You guys, you musicians out there, you can instantly hear that these things are different. These chords are different than all the other chords you've heard before, because these are very high complexity, just intonated structures. So they're still perfect, but they are complex perfection. And I think that sometimes when we deal with the harmonic series like this, where we use like really, really, like most people who compose in just intonation, they kind of want to keep it to these structures. And I mean, these structures are great. I like them. I mean, I worship this structure. It's like my deity, you know? Like these kinds of things. Hold on, let me bring the pitch up. Bass frequency. We'll take it to E3 for now. Okay. So like a lot of people go crazy over these sounds. Or like this, maybe? How about 8, 10, 12, 14, 14, 15, 16. So I mean, this is like a, you know, ultra harmonic structure. It's got like the 19th harmonic, 23rd harmonic. It's got all these primes in it. So I mean, that's like a really high prime complexity JI that starts with like the true simple harmonic structure, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look, these are cool. Everybody goes crazy over these. I get it. I've heard enough 4, 5, 6, 7. I love it. It's like my favorite thing ever. It's, you know, it's in your voice. It's like, it's beautiful, right? But like, you know, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This seems very cognitive in a way. I'd love to see how this will develop into something more intuitive that you'll be able to improvise with. Oh! Well, here, let me just show you. You don't have to wait for that. I can literally just do it. Here, watch. Let me show you. I started the stream improvising in this tuning. It's too big for this. Hold on. Let me put it on the screen. So here's a Novum decimal chromatic. So if I do basically what I just did, but I do it with these ratios, they end up creating a 12-note set that's very, very close to 12-tone equal temperament, which is what our pianos are normally tuned to. But it's a little bit more, oh, that's not what I wanted, is it? Nope, okay. But it's a little more special. It's a little more unique. Here's an example of it. Here it is. This is a Novum decimal. This is my tuning. And I'll improvise in it for you. I pretty much only play in just intonation these days. You know, like, I mean, I'll still release music in EDO and stuff like that, but when I'm by myself and I'm just listening to music, I almost never play in tempered music. I just can't stand it. So that was Novum decimal chromatic. It sounds really, really cool. I was playing in it with this sound earlier, which I like a lot more for this particular tuning. Certain tunings are also benefited by certain timbres, because timbre is nothing more than the relative balance between upper partials. So naturally, if you're using a whole number tuned thing and you start getting partials that maybe are more aligned with the structure, then, you know, certain timbres will make it sound different. So here's some more Novum decimal stuff. Here's septimal, actually. This is a very, very rough sound because it's such a low prime that it's you almost are forced to hear it the same way that you would hear the harmonic series. But a higher prime like this, yeah, so yeah, basically, for these, it's very easy to improvise because, you know, they're 12 note sets that I've generated here for myself to play with. So it maps onto 12 notes the same way it would before, but you just kind of have to know that, like, certain keys sound different. Like, for instance, I know that the sharp 4 minor 7 in the Novum decimal tuning I'm in is beautiful. It sounds like this. And that's, like, one of my favorite structures out of the entire set, honestly. But no, yeah, it's very easy to improvise in. It might seem a bit cognitive, as you said, like sort of intellectualized, but really, I don't think my musical process is like that at all. It used to be maybe, but it's just all about the sound. It's all about the love of like hearing it and like experiencing vibrations. I mean, some of these just intonated structures, I will literally just play on my speakers for hours. You know, I'll just sit in my room and I'll just like bask in it. The interesting thing about these structures is when they're occurring in acoustic spaces and you start moving your head through the room, you will literally hit, your head will line up in different parts of the sound structure, like the actual like pattern you're building, and it will actually phase partials, and the music will shift as you move around spatially. So you can play these just intonated structures through your speakers and then walk around. And in 12 EDO, it's so complex that it just sounds like, you know, you're walking around the room and like you lose quality. But in just intonation, since the structures are so like solid, it basically allows you to like a little beast. Oh, hello, welcome. I wonder if you're the person I think you are. Maybe not, I don't know. But hello, welcome. But yeah, so but like with just intonated structures, you can move your head around inside your room and you will literally hear different melodies. You'll hear different harmonies. You are, oh, hi, hello, welcome. But yeah, so those structures are really, really cool. Yeah, hi, I miss you. But no, so those structures are so cool because as you move around inside your room, you get like different, you can literally build melody just by moving around spatially inside the environment you're in, you know? But yeah, so these are such cool structures. That was that tuning there that I just showed you. I'll switch to a different tuning. I'll switch to a tuning based out of this system here, basically this right here. Basically a septendecimal major 7 or septendecimal 12 chromatic. It's another 12 note mapping that applies directly to the keyboards. And actually, I don't have that one. I have vice more tertial though. It sounds cool. Check it out. That's so cool. That tuning I just played in is so cool. Oh, let me go ahead and read those comments. I'm blind, so I have to take my glasses. I have to put my glasses on to read comments, literally. That's how bad my vision is. You translate the sounds into emotions very well already, so I can see it's not intellectual, but very expressive. When you said rusty, it fit really well. Yes, exactly! Oh my gosh! I totally, listen to this. Here. This is like pure undecimal harmony. Pure. Like the purest undecimal harmony you can basically get, in my opinion. I made this a long time ago. Is this it? Wait. Yeah. That's undecimal. Rusty, greenish, brownish, tannish. coppery, you know, it's just very earthy, but dark and a little bit metallic. It's a dark metallic earthy green, tannish, brownish. Another example of this, I made a little etude when I first started exploring this concept. I made a little etude in undecimal called Undecimal Dance. Check it out. I've never released this and I never will probably. This is basically an undecimal 12 set. I don't have the exact set anymore. I was just testing and see what... So that's like the sound of undecimal to me, like undecimal chromatic, and it's very, very brownish, greenish, rusty-ish, sort of coppery kind of. It's just, whereas Novum decimal to me is very, very cold. Novum decimal is like winter, like when you look out at night, a winter night, and it's like blue, and the blue is just so deep. It just goes on. It's so dark. That's what this makes me feel. Cold. Wait. That's a Novum decimal major 7 sharp 11, major 7 13. And that to me is really just freezing and frigid. In particular, Novum decimal minor is like, it makes me, I'm just getting cold thinking about it, literally. Like I have goosebumps, literally. That's what this stuff does to me. Let's see. Here's some cool Novum decimal. This is this tuning that's up on the screen right here. This thing. That's what this is in. So it's really beautiful. So Novum decimal to me is like frigidy, bluish star. Of course, it depends on the voicing too. Novum decimal has very bright qualities too, but generally speaking, Novum decimal to me is an indoors, a bluish, a coldish, a frigid, dark, wintry night kind of thing. Whereas the undecimal is more green, brown. Septimal, orange, period. Septimal is unquestionably an orange colored sound. It's just so... Even just hearing it just makes me feel orange. Like, this is septimal stuff. Check this out. This is an 11-note hyperconsonant structure that I created. It's pretty cool. Isn't that cool? I love that. So sometimes I use like microtonality to what would a dark red sound like? Ooh, I'll show you exactly what a dark red would sound like. Here we go. I'll do it via this. I'll build you a dark red sound right now, just for you. So I personally think dark red, very we'll build it off 34. And I'm probably going to build like a flat 90 structure. So we'll start with this. And let me move this so I'm not technically in that. So here we go. So here's our 1-to-1. Dark red to me is going to start out with something like this, maybe. Something like that. 17 against 18 will probably do. And then maybe we'll add like a... Already kind of feels a little dark red. Burgundy, maybe. Maybe not fully dark, like red, but like burgundy-ish. Maybe we need I need to find the perfect fifth. This 36 can go higher. I need to multiply it by 2. Too bad my tiny little peanut brain can't do that by itself. 36 times 2, 72. Okay. So something like this usually comes to me as a dark red. Maybe with like this kind of thing on top instead. There. This is like a fiery crimson, like bloodish red, like... Isn't that like how red spaces are though? Like if you had a dark red room, wouldn't you feel that same way about it? Like it's almost uncomfortable in a good way to have the walls that color. Like it's brooding and just like overwhelmingly colorful. I kind of feel that way about that sound. That would be my first go-to thought, red. If we wanted to make it more brown, we could do something like this, I think. Maybe one more. This will make it more brown. That to me is a brown color. It's just so, and by brown I mean like a true like mixed together, all the primaries are smashed into each other. It's kind of what that gives me, you know? I close my eyes and this is more like a really deep purple abyssal. Ooh, I like that too. I mean, you're welcome to have your own interpretations. Of course, I can only provide the true interpretation that I hear. Of course, it's not a perfect science or anything like that. But we sure do love sounds here. Ooh, let's see here. I really love... Ooh, this is cool. This is a minor 11 common structure built on 59. Really high prime. Gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. I tried to invert it, but apparently I must have had something going on. Oh, I put a 59 at the end. Why on earth would I ever do that? Well, I didn't do that. Really interesting inverting structures. You know, some of these structures are almost better U-tonal. So if you're a noob to microtonality, O-tonal would be like the ratios go up like that, where it's like above itself, basically. Like you see like 46, 56. They always count upwards. U-tonal is where you basically invert this. So you have like the same ratio, but it's like going downwards instead. So for instance, if I invert this, we get... Those are the different inversions of it, like primary inversions. Gosh. Oh, when I started singing, you got the red? See, that's great because you see, what I sing is what I hear when I hear all these sounds. You know, that's just my little like I'm just letting it out, you know? And so if you heard red when I started singing, that's what I really heard when I heard that sound to begin with, you know? That's so cool. Okay, well, I should probably hop off here. Any food, you know, oh, of course. Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, you're right. No, I would, so I'm gonna hop off here. I've got food waiting. I literally ordered it earlier. And I went 20 minutes over how long I was going to stream. I got some Alfredo here. So I'm going to go enjoy my dinner. And I'll make some music later. And I'll try to do more live streams like this. I'm just curious if anyone who's watching here, if you want to see more microtonal content or music theory or just music content on this channel. So I have a much, much, much bigger voice channel. My voice channel has like 6 times the subs that this channel has. My voice channel is way bigger. So I feel very non-incentivized to create content for this channel because I put content out on my other channel and I get like, I get like 2,000 views in a day. But I put stuff out on here, then it's like 200, 300. So I just want to make sure that if I'm going to put out microtonal music content on the channel or whatever, that there's like people who are like receptive to that and conducive to that and want that kind of content. So I would love to. Yes, Charles, I love your microtonal masterful work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that so much. It really means a lot to me. I will definitely do my best to put out more music content. I'll probably have more music live streams. Oh, you just got here and the stream's about to end. Well, I'll play a little bit more music for you. I was going to eat some food, but you're here, so I'll give a little bit. You'd love to see more? Absolutely. I would love to demonstrate to you all more concepts of microtonality. Now, all today I've been playing in just intonation. As you know, I'm very fond of just intonation. But I'll play a little bit for you before I go, I'll play a little bit for you in 17-tone equal temperament, which I like a lot. So let's take a listen. Check this out. This would be... sounds. So that's some 17 EDO stuff. I really like that, right? Now, I don't really play a lot in EDO. I prefer just intonation as my mode of operation, but I do enjoy some EDO structures. I like, just a short list. I like 17 EDO. I like 31 EDO. I like 22 EDO. I like 37 EDO. I like 43 EDO. I like 53 EDO. 41 EDO is notable too. I like 113 EDO, and lately I've been getting turned on to 81 EDO. It seems pretty decent. I have a friend, Tom Winspear. He's been doing some stuff in that. If anyone deserves to be Galactic Cultural Ambassador for Earth Music, it's you, Sia. I hope you meet more creative artists that become interested in the universe you've created. Oh my god, that is such a beautiful, wonderful compliment. I'm not sure if you know this, but my ultimate goal is ultimately to create a conservatory of human expression on a different colony. So whether it's Mars, whether it's the moon, I don't know where we end up. Titan, an orbital space platform, I don't know. But I would like to be part of a new sort of fledgling culture and help guide expression and help guide our people to more profound dimensions of themselves. But that being said, these days I just do a lot with voice. I'm doing a lot of voice research. I've created a lot of voice concepts that are new in the world and are in high demand. So I teach people how to change the sound of their speaking voice, and I teach people how to manipulate resonance and manipulate the harmonic series inside of their body. That's my full-time job. So I basically teach completely casual people who have never ever heard I teach completely casual people who have never really heard the harmonic series like directly ever. I basically teach them how to not only hear the harmonic series, but how to manipulate it with the geometry of the inside of their body. So it's a very interesting career path. I greatly enjoy what I do with my work. It's cool because it's close enough to music that it's like fresh, or it's close enough to music that it's like still music and I'm excited about it, but it's far enough away so that when I get off work at the end of the day and I've taught like 5 students and I've taught voice alteration for like 7 hours, then I can relax and make music because it's far enough away from music, but yeah, it's still music and it trains my ears. I've gotten to the point where I can hear the harmonics inside of human voices, and I can basically, whenever I hear someone talk, I can hear the exact geometry and the structures that are being created inside their body. So it's a very strange skill, but it's a skill I'm very good at, and I've excelled internationally at it, so that's cool. I'm an Asgardian, the first space nation. Yes. Is that on your other channel? What channel is it? Yeah, all my voice stuff's on my other channel. I try to not share it on this channel. It automatically sort of reveals a certain part of my life that I sort of want to keep separate from my music. So I don't think I'll give it now, but I think maybe after I make more content for this channel, I'll kind of bridge the two a little bit more. The other channel, I bridge this channel, but this channel, I try not to bridge my voice stuff because I really want this to just be focused on my music, not my voice science that I'm creating. But someday, what's most interesting to me is the voice is nothing more than a just intonated chord. So for instance, if you come over here to the piano and I put it into a harmonic tuning, we end up with this. First 16 harmonics of the overtone series. And the human voice, the differences between what vowels you say and what your voice is as an identity, the difference between that is which of those harmonics are louder, which is controlled by resonance, like this. Now that's harmonic singing with my mouth. You can also harmonic sing with your throat. You can harmonic sing all sorts of ways. But really, I'm just changing the relative amplitude of my harmonics so that I'm creating basically a different just intonated chord structure. It's like coming over to a piano and playing this chord, but playing it so the middle note's the loudest, or the bottom note's the loudest. See how the timbre of the chord changes? That's literally what your voice is. When you say different vowels, they are literally different timbres due to the fact that the geometric configuration inside of your body and vocal tract is different between each vowel. So it creates a different spectral profile, which then in turn alters the amplitude of your harmonics, just like passing a saw wave through an EQ. And so your body is an EQ. It's a three-pole EQ. And then your vocal folds basically create a saw wave, a periodic signal with full harmonic series and harmonic data. So we basically take a harmonic signal like that, and then we modify it a bunch into all the different sounds. What do you think? You mentioned it before, but in the program you used... you mentioned it before, but what program do you use the keyboard tunings? I use different programs. I use, for microtonal synthesis, I use Serum and Alchemy. I used to use Alchemy. Unfortunately, the support team doesn't exist anymore, and it doesn't work for me, so that sucks, because Alchemy was amazing. It's like additive mixed with granular, mixed with subtractive, mixed with modular, mixed with like spectral. It's a crazy, crazy, crazy amazing plugin. But I use Serum. Pigment also supports .tune files. So basically, if I come up with a scale that I want or something, I'll export it as a .tune file, or I'll export it as a Kontakt key script. So for instance, if I'm in here in Kontakt, let me just go ahead and change this. So instead of this, I will go in Fruity Loops. Okay. So here's how I do this micro-tuning. So first off, I micro-tune Keyscape very easily. It's got tunings here. Oh, you can't see it because the window didn't pop up. But it's preloaded with a few different tunings. Maybe if I undetach it? Wait, no. So it's preloaded with a few different tunings, and you can go into the folder in the Spectrasonics folder, and you can import your own tunings. So I do that with tune files here. And then for Serum, I'm playing on my keyboard. But for here in Serum, very easy. You just go to menu, load tuning. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry, because once again, I'm just sharing this particular capture. So if I click on menu, it'll pop up a tuning thing, import .tune file, and the tuning file will enter. If I'm working in Kontakt, so I have two versions of Kontakt. Here's the version that I want. Okay, so here is Kontakt. Here are the different libraries that I have. So I'm just going to go ahead here and grab this. So Kontakt is really easy to do this with. So I've got this little choral pad here, the script tuner. Now this is in 12/20 equal. Let me get rid of this. Hold on. Let me get rid of this thing on the screen. Okay, there we go. So this is in 12/20 equal temperament. Okay, whatever. Now, for EDOs, it's very simple. They have a preset. Oops, those are mine. They have a preset. You just go to tuning. It'll say notes per octave. Whatever I set this to will now become my equal division of the octave. So, for instance, if I set this to 31, now I've got 31 EDO. If I come in here, ooh, what is this? Oh. Whoa. Oh, it's wrong tuning, isn't it? Hold on. It's in harmonic. But this is supposed to be Novum decimal. There we go. It's pretty close, actually. So if I was going to do something in 31 EDO with Kontakt, I started out with my non-microtonal library, EDO, 31. Now I'm in 31 EDO. So for instance, if I come into the piano roll, my octave, or my... Wait, my perfect fifth is actually an octave plus a tritone, so this is now a fifth. So then if I were to make a major scale or a Lydian scale, I'll do major, or I'll do Lydian. So in 31, Lydian is basically this. Depends on how you tune it, but... And you can do major 6 here, major 7, the octave's there. So a 9 would be, I'll get rid of the 9 on the bottom. And now we have choir in 31 EDO. Which sounds pretty good. I mean, 31's kind of fire, I won't lie. I mean, I don't really like temperament period, but if you're going to use temperament, you might as well use one like this. So there's that for EDO. And then for tunings, or for just intonation, it's much more complex. Unfortunately, you can do some like this. Like if I do here. Now I've got some harmonics. It's not going to work with how I had it set up, but you can do individual tuning of the each of the 12 notes like this. Not the way I'd go about doing it, because you don't get true just. You get like these like you get like these like pseudo irrational things. Anyway, so what I do if I want a more complex structure, I have a folder, tunings, that has a bunch of let's see, dot tuning. It has a bunch of these like notepad things that are just like, they're honestly really annoying to work with, I'm not gonna lie. Where are they? Yeah, so there's these scripts that have a bunch of text in them like this. I'll paste it in. You just go to edit, paste the script in, and you can get the script from Scale Workshop, Sevish. Sevish has a Scale Workshop you can get it from, or you can get it from Scala. But now the entire thing is retuned to whatever I dropped in. I dropped in tridecimal major sextat with no fourth. Not what I wanted, but we'll take it. It'll sound cool. Let's see how it sounds. So yeah, there's our tuning. And this is all in pure JI. Yeah, so simple. So that's how I do it. Oh, you're gonna forget to eat again. You're right. Thank you for reminding me to eat. Hold on. Hold up. Okay, you're right. I really should go eat. I'm too skinny. I need to gain weight. And so you're right. You're right. Thank you for reminding me. I'll get lost in my music forever. So it was so lovely streaming for all of you today. If you have any questions or anything, post in the comments afterwards, or just reach out to me. And yeah, thanks everyone for listening. I'll do this again. And yeah, take care. Wait, how do I do this? Oh, there we go. Take care. Bye.